2020 was a year that happened. Kind of. Look, this year might have been a complete dumpster fire, but amazing video games dragged many of us through it. Here are the games I beat, and also some I didn't this year. Man, I started off 2020 right with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Who doesn't want to go through their own Jedi journey? I mean, really flying through space, building your own lightsaber, glitching into floors. So this game was obviously unfinished. No surprise, seeing as it's EA published. Despite that, Jedi Fallen Order is a blast to experience. It fulfilled many of my 10-year-old backyard dreams of becoming one with the Force. I especially love collecting cosmetic items. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And customizing my own lightsaber, mwah! Moving ever closer to my goal of beating every Zelda game, I finally got around to the SNES classic, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I was a Sega kid growing up, so it's been interesting to play all the Nintendo classics like Chrono Cross and Super Mario World. Overall, my feelings end up being the same every time. The unending hype inevitably gives me unrealistic expectations, leaving me slightly disappointed in the experience. A Link to the Past was fun, and I enjoyed almost everything in it, but my experience with all the 3D Zeldas was far better. Borderlands Remake on the PS4 got me excited for more run-and-gun action. I love Borderlands 2, and unfortunately, I went into this one thinking I was getting more of the same. Borderlands 2's frenetic energy is definitely lacking in this outing. I felt like I was playing the initial concept of a game, with its bare bones missions and boringly simple gunning action. That being said, there was something very meditative about my playthrough. I ended up turning off the volume, popping in my favorite podcast, and just playing. So I guess it wasn't that bad. Hey, oh man, the first generation of Sonic games were so damn fun. I decided to revisit the original trilogy, and man was I not disappointed. Well, except for the first game, and most of Sonic and Knuckles, and this stupid piece of Okay, so they aren't perfect, except for Sonic 3, which pretty much was a blast from beginning to end. My biggest issue were all the final bosses in these games, which pretty much just suck. Man, I love Sonic. Love Sonic games. Oh, Final Fantasy VII. I already made a video explaining my thoughts on this one. I loved it. I replayed it on hard mode immediately after the credits rolled. If you aren't happy with this remake, you were never going to be happy with anything Square Enix rolled out. I've played Megaman X in the past and barely made it past the opening. When I popped it in on June, I committed to following the guide online. Yes, I will never play a Mega Man game without a guide again. My experience was night and day. Knowing the level order and what bosses were weak to what power made me finally enjoy this classic. And I didn't just enjoy it, I loved it. Man, blasting through halls, firing off tornadoes, fireballs, lightning bolts, it's so damn satisfying. I can't even put it in words. Immediately after beating X, I decided to jump over to the classics, wholly expecting a slightly worse experience, but that was not the case. Mega Man 2 is timelessly delightful. With a guide. Oh, and the music. Oh, so good. So good. The entire Mega Man 2 OST is amazing. Everyone go check it out, especially Wily Stage 1. Oh gosh, 2020 was my year for remakes. Nothing is going to beat out remaking my two favorite games of all time. My first experience with Xenoblade on the Wii was magical. Getting that again on the Switch was fantastic. Gosh, I love this game. If you love RPGs, this is a must play. And then we had Fire Emblem Three Houses. Man, I wanted to love this game. I heard nothing but praise, and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is easily in my top 10 favorite games of all time. Unfortunately, by making the game more accessible to a wider audience, I think they lost me. My first mistake was playing on normal difficulty. I chose the Black Eagles, and recruiting my dream team was the best part of the experience. But towards the end, I just started warping Byleth in front of the boss and having him one-hit the guy into oblivion. It's not a bad game by any means. And if you love it and it's your favorite, more power to you. But somewhere along the line, the Fire Emblem series left me behind. After my mixed experience with Three Houses, I decided to take a notch off of my backlog and finally play Suikoden V. First of all, this game was so disgustingly easy. Broken, over-leveled characters are pretty much shoved in your face at the beginning of the game. But man, this game was built with love, and it shows. Character design, cutscenes, emotional story beats, it's got it all. I can forgive easy gameplay if the rest of the package is bursting with this much charm. And really boring, empty world design. Is Doughnut Country even a real game? Yeah, it was something I beat in like 2 sittings, and I don't highly recommend it. The 3D Mario collection on Switch happened this year.
Whoopee.
Hooray.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play Mario Sunshine my entire life, and I finally got to. And I'm not a big fan of 3D Mario. This realization just blew my brain. Everyone loves these games. I have to love them, right? But I can't, because this stupid throwing thing and what do you do with this and this level and this password? Mario Sunshine is a fun game with some bad moments. Mario 64 is a terrible game. I mean, just terrible. I understand the historical significance of this game and that it practically raised my generation, but if this thing came out today under a different name, it would be torn apart. I absolutely hated my experience. Almost every camera moving, tanky control swerving moment was agonizing. Mario 64 is a bad game with some fun moments. Now, here is a perfect platformer in every aspect of the word. Celeste is like a perfectly baked souffle in a world of mock platformers that try to copy the Mario franchise. Celeste is perfect. I've never played something with such perfectly balanced difficulty. Just as you're starting to get the hang of the levels, gimmicks, new ones are introduced. Challenges in the opening hours become a cakewalk as you are gradually, lovingly challenged more and more. Your reflexes become fine-tuned as you make your way to that satisfying peak, knowing you, the player, climbed more than a mountain in your 5-hour playthrough. Sonic Mania. Yeah, this game played itself. Look, I get the nostalgia hype of a game like this. It's an absolute love letter to the classic Sonic. I mean, I grew up with Sonic, but Mania was over in a blink, and the only difficulty came from cheap tricks. If I'm comparing it to the classics, I'd say it's slightly better than all of them, except for 3. Oh man, 2020 was my year. Trails of Cold Steel 4, baby. I have never played a series more dedicated to the art of JRPG than this. Giant robot battles, well-crafted turn-based combat, intense menus filled to the brim with options, hour-long overly dramatic cutscenes filled with endless motivational quotes, and sword-wielding, spiky-haired, amnesiac men surrounded by a harem of bouncing anime babes. Man, if you love anything I just said, then you owe it to yourself to play this absolute gem of series. Now, I didn't beat every game I played this year. There were 4 disappointing entries that made it into the pantheon of unfinished games sitting back on my shelf. The first was Astral Chain. Nier Automata was one of the most surprisingly good games I have ever played in my life. It literally blew my brains out the back of my head. I thought Astral Chain was going to join that, but instead it was a completely slapped together, poorly thought out story with a silent protagonist and overly confusing and, well, just not fun combat. Baten Kaitos was another game I dusted off from my bucket list. It wasn't bad. I stopped playing because Trails 4 came out and haven't gotten back to it yet. Honestly, I'll probably try it again in 2021. We'll see. Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, this was not going to happen. If I think 3D Marios are bad, imagine what I think of 3D Sonic. And this is supposed to be the best of them. No thank you. The last title was Megaman Legends, which ended up soft locking me during a particularly difficult boss battle. I can't even imagine these controls were fun in the day Legends launched. The only good thing I can say about this title was its graphics. I mean, there are PS2 games that don't look this vibrant and colorful. We may have experienced a year filled with political idiocy, economic downfall, and questionable health emergencies, but 2020 will always stay in my mind as the year I experienced lovingly crafted remakes, timeless and maybe slightly not so timeless classics, and, well, just plain amazing games overall. Thank you for watching my channel this year, and I am looking forward to 2021 and what it will bring. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later.